Hey there, Planner fam. In today's video, I'm going to be going through how I developed the habit of using a planner. You see, for 3 years in a row, I was failing to use a planner. I've made the assumption that if I just buy the perfect planner or any planner, by osmosis, I'll somehow magically change into this more organized person. I thought I needed to change my personality and that a planner would somehow do that. But I quickly realized that actually I was relying on self-discipline in order to use the planner, and that just wasn't working out for me. You know that phrase, fail to plan, plan to fail? Well, who knew that you actually needed to have a plan around using a planner? I figured that out pretty fast because I was determined not to fail for a 4th year in a row. And I actually ended up developing bit of a worksheet that helped me get massive clarity around developing the habit of using a planner. I'm going to go through that with you now. The worksheet's available in my Etsy shop. So if you've come from there because you've purchased the worksheet and just want to know a little bit more about how to get the best from it, then welcome and thank you. I appreciate your support. And if you're just curious, you've clicked on this video or you've seen the worksheet in Etsy and you want to know a little bit more about it before you purchase it, then welcome. I hope you get some massive takeaways from this that are going to help you regardless of whether you buy the worksheet or not. So let's dive in. Guys, here we are in the overhead view. This is my current planner. I'll pop details about this planner below because it's not really a video about the planner that I'm using, more a specific insert that I'm using within my planner. So how I've decided to have my planner set up is into 4 sections. I have a contents page where I detail each of the sections, and I just call them chapters just to be, creative. But I've got chapter 1, my schedule, chapter 2, wellness, chapter 3, household, and chapter 4, business. Now, my this habit tracking kind of worksheet thing, I don't have a name for it. I call it the 100 days worksheet, which I'll get to in a moment. But I put it in my wellness section. So if we go to chapter 2, and let's go straight to the 100 days. So here we are with the 100 days, a project for becoming. Now this worksheet is all about getting massive clarity around the habit that you are aiming to build. Do excuse my handwriting, guys, because this is the original worksheet that I filled out when I first decided that I needed to develop the habit of using a planner. So I might blur out some of this if I feel like, oh, I don't want anybody to read that. But at the same time, I think it's really, really helpful to see how someone else has filled something in. So this worksheet, although I don't want to call it a worksheet, I want to say action sheet because it's all about taking action. So this 100 days action sheet is all around taking action, but more specifically, before you can take action, you need to have massive clarity around what it is that you are aiming to take action on. So the questions are designed to help you get really specific, and they're worded in a way that is around making you just take the time to really think about your why. So the first question is intention. What's the specific habit you intend to build over the next 100 days? Now here you just need to be very specific about what it is. Don't just write, oh, I need to be more organized, right? Well, as you can see here, if I haven't blurred it out, I've written, I intend to build the habit of using a planner and being organized every darn day. So that's quite specific. It wasn't like, oh, I just want to be more organized. Well, do you want to be more organized with your time? Do you want to be more organized with your home? For me, it was being more organized with my time, and that's why I chose a planner. The next question is the why. What's the powerful why that drives your intention? And for me, I knew what my why was. I was tired of dropping the ball on kids' stuff, like forgetting to fill out the forms or pay for the trips or the non-uniform days, or getting things muddled up, or just being in a panic when you see everyone in the class group chat for parents saying, oh, don't forget the harvest festival bits tomorrow, and just having to raid the cupboards. All of that kind of stuff added to the stress of just feeling a bit like a failure in terms of not doing well at mumming. And then there was the meal planning. I wasn't really doing a very good job of that. I would get to 5 p.m. every day and just have massive hangry stress out because the kids were hungry, I was hungry, and I had zero plan, and would usually just rustle up pasta with sauce. Like, no judging if you are the pasta and sauce mum. We do still have pasta and sauce on the days where it's like, my energy is low and the plan I had for this amazing whatever it was, I don't have the energy for that today, so we are having a pasta and sauce day. Like, it's a great fallback. But when you find that you are feeding that to your family pretty much most of the week, then you just feel like, or at least for me, I felt like it was time to make a change. There were also business goals that I just wasn't really achieving. I'd bought these paper hardbound planners and had been mapping out goals that I wanted to reach in my business, and I just wasn't sticking to them, and that just added to the whole feeling like a failure. So I used that as my powerful why. Like, I could just tap into those emotions and those feelings whenever I wanted to remind myself of why I was doing this particular habit. And it's tapping into those emotional triggers that are going to drive you, because the initial excitement of buying a planner and hoping that it's going to make you more organized, that doesn't last for long. Let me tell you, that loses momentum really quickly. But when you have that powerful emotional why to fall back on, that pushes you every time. On those days where you're like, nah, I don't know about this whole planning malarkey, you're like, actually, yeah, I do, because I know what the alternative looks like and I don't want to go back to that place. Where, now this is really important. Remember what I said in the intro? Fail to plan, plan to fail, and the whole who knew you needed to have a plan around using a planner? Well, this is where the when and the who comes in. So where do you intend to complete your habit each day? For me, I decided that I was going to do it at my dining room table before everyone got up. I wanted to refer to my planner throughout the day, so I knew that I needed a space where I could have it open and out. But also I knew that that early morning quiet time was probably the best time for me to gather my thoughts whilst I was enjoying my hot drink before the chaos of getting the kids ready for school and all of that kind of stuff. I also decided that I would do it last thing at night. So once I got into bed, I normally take a nice, like a soothing herbal tea with me to bed. So I also decided that that would be another good time to put my hands on my planner, have a look at what was on the pages and decide, did I need to shift things around? What have I achieved today? What needs to be bumped over to the next day? And just give me a bit more of a head start on the following day. The when, well, I've kind of covered that in the where, but when will you complete your habit, or what is your habit trigger? So for me, like I said, it was first thing in the morning whilst I'm having my hot drink and I've got that quiet time. That would be my trigger. And having a trigger for your habit is really important because, as I said before, relying on self-discipline is really, really hard, especially when the initial momentum from excitement has fizzled out. The self-discipline, kudos to you if you've got self-discipline that is ironclad. I, on the other hand, what's the phrase? The mind is willing, but the flesh is weak. I've butchered that. Oh my goodness. I will pop it up on screen once I've Google food that phrase. But it's like, I have the best intentions of being self-disciplined, but I just don't have the self-discipline to be self-disciplined. So having these triggers in place serves as that reminder of, oh yeah, now I'm doing this activity. The next thing that I need to do is this activity. So having massive clarity around that. And I know it seems redundant writing things down, like you know what you need to do, but there's a big gap between knowing what you need to do and taking action on actually doing it. And by having a trigger, you just remove a lot of that because there's a lot less thought power. Oh, I'm brushing my teeth, so now I need to pick up my floss once I'm done. Or, oh, I'm having my herbal tea, I better go grab my planner. The next one, and this is really helpful too, I think, is the who. Who is the person you see yourself becoming by completing this habit? So it's kind of playing with this whole idea of becoming more organized isn't about changing your personality, just your habits. Well, it's kind of flipping that and being like, when you change your habits, you'll naturally develop the personality of the person that you want to become. I hope that's making sense. So I envisaged myself becoming this person who loves being organized, who loves getting things done and is a goal getter. That's the vision of the person that I saw myself becoming once I developed the habit of using a planner to plan things out. And then finally, my daily reward. Well, not finally, sorry, there's two more things. So we've got the daily reward. How will you reward yourself each time you complete your habit? Well, for me, in the morning, it was once I've done my planning bit, I can have my cup of coffee. So I normally have like a hot lemon first thing when I wake up just to rehydrate myself. And I decided that I wasn't allowed to have my coffee until I'd used my planner and checked what was going on for the day ahead. And then finally, the big reward. How will you reward yourself once you complete your 100 days? And that's where this 100 days grid comes in and the whole idea behind the title for this action sheet. Now, 100 days seems like a lot, and trust me, it is. But if you stay on track for the 100 days, you are going to find that you have developed the habit. You see, the biggest hurdle to overcome when you're developing a habit is to develop the art of just showing up. And that does require some amount of self-discipline. That's why these questions and being very clear with your answers to these questions is so important, because it helps you push past relying on self-discipline alone and gets you to a place where you want to show up, because you know what the end game is. You know who you're going to become by doing this. You have your powerful why, and you've already got the where and the when in place. So there's less, and I know I've said this already, but it really is about taking the guesswork out of it, about not having to think, oh, when am I going to do this? Oh, oopsie, I didn't do my planning today. Having those triggers of where and when, it just takes the guesswork out and makes the art of just showing up so much more easier. So the 100-day grid, this really is about the accountability piece. And what I actually did here was I filled in the dates, because I knew that it would be very easy to just miss a day and it not be recognized on here. And the thing is, you want to tick off every single day. You don't want to see those like, oops, I skipped a day. Like, you can skip one day, maybe 2 days, especially if you're poorly, but you know, to skip 3, 4, 5 days, that would indicate to me that I need to go back and reevaluate my why, my where, and my when, and get even more clear around those things, if I'm honest. But luckily with this particular habit, I was able to complete it every single day. And I think that was because I had made the habit itself a no-brainer. Like, I didn't overcomplicate it. I wasn't trying to plan a whole bunch of things. I just kept it very, very simple in terms of what I was using my planner for, and having the whole triggers for when I was going to do it. I think that was the main thing that helped to keep me on track with ticking off every day. But having the actual dates written onto the grid really helps with the whole accountability piece. And also seeing these slowly get ticked off and the grid slowly get filled up and getting to day 50 and knowing that I'm halfway through. Like, this is such a good feeling. I was also thinking, whilst you're doing these off, you could have like mini big rewards at the end of every 10 days. So it just feels like, oh, when I get to the end of this row, there's something to look forward to, just to drive you. I don't want to be, I know we're so overly triggered with the whole dopamine stuff with social media and whatnot, but learning how to use dopamine as a way of helping you to achieve certain goals or habits that you want to, good habits, healthy habits that you want to put in place. I think there are a lot of benefits into the whole dopamine reward system and using how you're physiologically made up, your brain, how your brain works, using that to your advantage rather than your detriment can be useful. So having those rewards in place and maybe having that 10-day reward is like quite a nice thing, and maybe having a special stamp or colour or sticker to put on day 10 when you've completed it and you've had your reward, that could be another bonus. And then finally, on the final page of this action sheet is an area to have a vision board. Now, the whole thing around the vision comes back to who do you see yourself becoming when you complete this habit? And for me, it was not just about tapping into being more organised, hence having the picture of the planner here and the pen, but it was also around, I want to be the type of person that really values a gorgeous planner because I just love using a planner so much. So I popped in some beautiful pictures of some different, these are VDS planners that I just thought, these are the epitome of, someone who's professional, they have a luxurious planner, they are keeping on track with things, they value their time and they value good quality things. So I thought I would put images of those. But on another 100-day challenge I set for myself, it was around creative writing. So I had these images that were someone sat with their coffee and their laptop and they were doing their writing or journaling. This whole idea of hot drinks and journals and also quiet time. That's what this picture represents, as well as this is a picture, it says journal here. So just having this kind of vision, this peaceful, cozy vibes, vision for creative writing. That was this 100-day habit that I was building here, and that's how I designed my vision board for that one. But I just created these in Canva, so you can create it in Canva and then print it out onto the back of the sheet. It's really quite simple. Or you could even have a picture of yourself. So find a picture of yourself when you felt at your best, where you really was having a wonderful time in that moment. And then maybe around it, write the words of who you see yourself becoming by completing your habit. So I could have a picture of myself here, and then I might have the words organised, productive, on track, goal getter, those kind of words that I associate with calm, not stressed, all of those juicy words that really trigger the emotions and remind me of my powerful why and who. I didn't just come out of the womb with all of these productivity truth bombs and organisational hacks. I, as I said before, struggled for 3 years to use a planner because I was missing some essential components. Developing the habit was one of those components, but in this video, I go through a few of the other things I did to avoid another planner fail. I'll see you over there. Bye for now, Mama.